Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here, playing Hearts of Iron 4's Black Ice. So far, loving it. I'm making these episodes live, as I'm sure you're aware of, as I chat with the people in chat. And you just missed I thought, interesting discussion between me and chat about Italian aircraft and whatnot in World War II. So you can check out, if you want to, the VODs. They're there. The live shows. Got to just look in the live show section if you want to see what you missed while I'm recording these. Now, okay. Looked quickly before starting playing here. We have here research, invest in construction research, 50, and we have plenty of political power. So this gain one research slot there. Okay, so we want to take that immediately. I think that is going to, just keep going here. So we come over here. And again, I like the way they've done this. I really admire the way they've done this. Some things like this might not actually be construction, but oh well. You only tailor it so much. But well, seeing that, let's get down some of this here. I think this will be useful. And the reason I delayed on that until this very moment is, except for the small contingent of 3 divisions that are fighting in Spain currently, none of this really helps. Now, I mean, not that getting sick or base stability would help, yes. Some monthly population, yeah, that'd help. But some of the stuff will really help division recovery rates once you're in the war. So this is useful, but the stuff that gets you producing stuff more now is more useful now than some of that other stuff. So I do make these choices, but I really like what they've done here. At most, it would be quibbling with details, but I like what they've done here. All right, well, we're going to keep going at this speed, and we're going to go back to Spain and our battles down here. We're pushing with this, the Doña 17. Pushing there with that, pushing there, and pushing here. Hopefully the Spaniards will come in and help us. Now, let's... right there. Okay. Well, okay. We're in 38. I was going to maybe do some of the other 38s, like the DO-17M. But let's just push early on the Emile. This is sort of the famous main sort of 109 starting in the war. So we'll get that starting research now. That way we can switch production over to it once we get it going and have it there early. Panzer division is getting unorganized. We have both air superiority and air support and enemy air superiority. How interesting. Oh, mentioning that, let's check our... What's this? Let's check our air. Okay, yeah, we're operating over the right areas to support ourselves. And, well, we've lost a few medium bombers, but otherwise we're doing good. Hello, Kaiser. Well, good to have you here. I do try to do gameplay and history chatter combination. I hope it's fun for most people. Okay, well, this guy, he's now attacking alone, so stop. And not doing very well. Oh, well, they're now attacking. Now they're attacking back. Well, this will give us a chance for Ritter von Thoma to get reorganized a bit more with his Panzer Division. The Tour de France, 1938. Wait, Hooten? Okay, very good. I don't know if it'll let you post the title or something. You can. I don't mind you giving book recommendations. Okay, so we have another military factory. I'm going to wait for it to get the Kuba wagon. I don't think it's fully researched out yet to switch over. Just I don't care about quality or whatnot of some of those. Okay. Well, let's look over here. Is there a new tank model? No. Okay. I don't know why it's giving me this fresh tank thingy. Now aircraft. Okay, well, we're slowly building up paratrooper and rather quickly at 2 a day or whatever this is. Mountain warfare equipment. We finally caught up on horse transports. I think we're still down for motorization here, and well, trucks we have looked earlier. Okay, so what I think we can do is see about putting another type of aircraft into production. Okay, so we got, I mean, it just started out. I think some of these workup times in production is maybe a bit slow, but that's all for the debate, shall we say, of how reverse engineering this reality into a game is. Okay, so let's look at some of our aircraft. I moved to the top just to make sure they got all the resources. Okay, the Heinkel, which we'll see. I think we're maybe again skipping there. Okay, we got Heinkels, 111s, Stukas, and that. So, okay, these are all of our current. If you're ever, sometimes it won't show everything with the mod, then you just hit that to show obsolete, and then you hit undo it, and it'll make sure that all the current ones there. And it just maybe too information for the UI at times. I really like naval bombers and flying boats. For Germany, both wargaming and reality, doesn't necessarily have to be flying boats, but Germany, if you're doing a mildly historical campaign, you're going to need lots of tanks. You don't need lots of big battleships. Sorry, Arno. Sorry, Toy Jet, but you really don't need a lot because you're not gonna outbuild the Allies, especially once the Americans get in. But you can use air power effectively along your coast, and depending on some of these things, they can be used to, and I don't know specifically on some of the way it's tailored here, but not so much here I'm seeing. Use them for ground, but you see this, the Stuka here, and the DO-17 can be used to go after naval targets, but they often don't have the sea detection equipment stats well. So having naval bombers and flying boats in your production lines will, and you can use them, daily normally, for operations against submarines or surface ships like you would. And then, whether it's in the Mediterranean or in the North Sea or wherever, when you really need to, or when you don't have a pressing need, you're not yet at war with the Soviet Union or something, you can support them with these other guys after they've found, have them flying to come in after they've found the targets. So, yeah, I'm going to do flying boats, the DO-17, but we'll wait till the next model, the DO-17, and just start researching on that. Hey, Sing, good to have you here. Wondering if you were going to be able to show up today. Good to have you here. And hello, Pickle, how you doing? You should start building the Panzer II. That might be a good idea. Yeah, okay, that would be a good idea. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the Panzer. We have 2 lines here. This one is fully worked up and has 3 factories on it. So we're going to leave that producing Panzer 1s. and we're going to come over here, and we're going to produce the Panzer II Cs. So that will keep that up to production. There, I think that was... Did I have a second line? No. Oh, I guess no, those are the 3s and the 4s, right? So, yeah. Yep, that is good. Very good, Pickle. All right. Okay, so we've just lost down here. So what they're going to do is counterattack immediately. These guys. Okay. They're going to join. I know it's attacking across the river, but they're going to join that attack there. These guys who had to fall back are going to join this action. I need to get back in and occupy there, because once we get this a little more secure, we can push and maybe trap some of these. Maybe not. They'll fall back. Yeah, they're low on organization. They get in there and there's an immediate counterattack going on. And now these guys are a bit, well, they're a bit weak too. So, but let's get them in here before there's another serious attack. They get organized up well enough. Signal companies, great. All right. Where is the open slot? Here is the open slot. Lower Austria. Lots of things we could do here. So now we can start adding signal companies to divisions, or they will magically appear there in decisions if we do them. Okay. Let's do 80mm mortars here. Get that going, that'll be useful. Let's again scroll through our decisions. Okay, we're waiting for, well, the time and reclaiming Sudetenland. Ah, well, okay, well, we're almost done with that. To get some of these motorized divisions. So we won't wait too long. I'll get them even if they're unequipped, because they're not going into the front. Like the new supply system, the 100 air wing minimum is a bit annoying. Yeah, well, in this mod, they mostly have it at 50. So, you know, this is one thing that, again, we have a few new people around here. If you don't know, I was part of the beta test for Hoi 4. I've made a very significant mod for Black Ice Hearts of Iron 3 called Third Reich Events, so I sort of know what I'm doing there. I never really cared about, because of what I was seeing early on with, even before I got into the beta with Hearts of Iron 4, I never really cared about things like air wing size. I cared about which they fixed the teleportation, meaning being able to fly through, you have to be able to fly through zones. Now, they fixed that. I cared about things like that. I didn't care about air wing size, because so long as someone can mod things like air wing sizes, I don't care what the vanilla game is. I mean, I'll play the vanilla game normally when a new DLC comes out, because a lot of mods aren't updated to the new game, and we just to sort of look at the new features to the game, for viewers and for myself, just to know what's new in the standard version. But once I do that, I almost never go back to the vanilla game and just play the mods I like the best. So, so when you find things like air wing size, I don't care. Hello, Holiday Punch. What have I done now? Oh, Holiday Punch. Twitch terms of service. You're over on Twitch. Just a second. Just taking a drink. Twitch terms of service, the new ones that they put out in the last week or so, though they've retracted some of the stuff, and I don't know what their current state is and what they'll enforce, but they say no multi-streaming, live streaming to multiple services. And I'm right now live streaming to multiple services, and I'm going to continue to do so. I am not going to change that. They can kick me off if they want, because I have, I need to refresh that, I think, to see that here. Let me hit refresh over here. I have, it says 10 people watching over on Rumble, and yes, I did see your first over here chat Rumble, over on Rumble, Arno. And I have 17 viewers between Twitch and YouTube right now, so I'm not going to limit myself to just one service. If so I mean, if they want to kick me off, they can kick me off. It's compared to everything else, it's one of the smaller ones now. Still like being here on Twitch, and happy to have gains tiny increase in public opinion with Tibet. Oh boy. Okay. Complaint time. Anybody watching from Black Ice, complaint time. And maybe I should, and I will. I think I can turn these off. I haven't done it, but I think I can turn these off with stop diplomatic efforts. I've been seeing notifications of communist coup or something in Ecuador or whatever. And I've been wondering, is that an actual historical event? I don't think so. Because I sort of pay attention to these kinds of things. And maybe I should just turn these off. I don't like these. Because now I have my own mod for Hearts of Iron 3, in which I do have, okay. I had originally planned, when I was first working on my mod, Third Reich events, before I even had a name for it, I was starting, because partially for this, peace period, when most of the things, it's really hard to do events once, the deeper you get into the war, because a lot of events that happened historically, are based on historical conditions, and if they're not right, well, events don't make sense. So, but when you're mostly at peace and you're gradually, and you can easily put condition controls province, whatever number for like Vienna and Austria, you want to make sure that they've taken over Austria, the Anschluss has happened, or whatever. You can do some easy checks for things, and so historical events building up to the war were pretty easy. So I started to do this, and I had some ideas for some events and some stuff. And I very quickly, even well before release, of the first version, decided I wanted to stick to a historical mod, to have stuff that you might be able to, because this is only, and it's a positive. Now, I learned from players, again, people from Black Ice, people like choices. So I get that this is a small choice, and I get that according to this, which is fine, that there's no negative repercussions. But maybe for some reason I want Tibet to hate me. I don't know. I mean, that sounds silly, but I don't get the idea. But people like choices. That's one thing I learned with my mod, is to get a do nothing, or even if there's only a benefit. Now, or if often I will give something that has a cost, but it also, if you decide not to do it, it has a different cost. Whether one costs more than the other, negative costs between, sometimes it's maybe either way has a positive benefit, but they both have a negative benefit. Maybe like one reduces national stability, but the other one costs ICs or something, I mean, and you get to choose, we got tons of stability, I can take a minor hit and not take a hit to ICs, or go, oh shit, my stability's low, I'd rather spend some ICs. Sometimes you have choices like that, and even if they're minor, like 1% down, and minus an IC effectively for 10 days. I mean, it's not like it's got to be huge war winning or losing, but people like choices, I've been told, after I released my first versions of the mod, and they like to have them have at least a minor game effect with this. So they like that. Just feedback I've gotten from players. So I was looking into things, and I decided that I was going to keep my mod very historically based. With, the abilities to not force you down to historical paths. There's, you can choose not to build, because I have a whole succession of events that over time builds the West Wall, in which I do sort of like what they've been doing here, is it's no longer hit button, do national focus, gets West Wall, because I have this here, which has a bunch of costs, 16 factories for 40 days, and I could choose not to, hit this, instead of a binary choice of a pop-up. That's how everything was if you hadn't played Hearts of Iron 3. But I already have a weak West Wall, so I could decide to ignore this, or I can decide to do this. And you can decide to build a West Wall stronger than, as long as, stronger than it was historical. So, like, even in my mod, it's not necessarily everything exactly historical, but it's historically plausible choices, and you can decide not to do them. But sort of once you go down certain paths, there's sometimes opt-outs at some point, but, once you decide to, if you decide to have alliances with Italy, you can't later attack Italy. It's not like a completely freewheeling thing. But early on, you have the choices with my mod to not go down that path. You can choose to ignore Italy, and if you were planning on conquering it or something. So you have still choices. Well, this sort of brings it up because this is Tibet, which I think this is randomly generated. I have a few events covering the German expeditions to Tibet at the time. One of them did happen, I think it was around 38. There was an earlier one around 35, before the game/mod starts. And a few of my events are sort of look back at earlier things, as sort of setting the groundwork. I have in my head, it never really got, I collected bits and pieces about it, collected for a mod, which if somebody like, I don't know, Paradox ever wants to pay me to make a DLC for Hearts of Iron 4, I do have it's way, way out of date, and you'd have to, I think I have a copy of an older version of Hoi 4 that it would be playable with. I do have a copy of that I ported up Third Reich events to Hearts of Iron 4, but it's so out of date version, no one would want to play it. So it'd take a lot of work. If they want to pay me to make a DLCs, I can make some shit hot DLCs for them. It's good or better than what they make. I mean, they won't probably like that, or admit that, but I can make better DLCs than they do. At least I think they're better. One of them, the one I'm going to talk about here, is a fantasy one, definitely fantasy, but it has a basis in reality. And I never knew how far I was going to take it, because I never made it. But it was called the Hidden Reich, in which, you're sort of playing as the overall commander, and I don't like some of the stuff that they sort of introduce that make it out that somebody else is telling you what goals and objectives to have over here. But I don't like that. But it also sort of plays out that you are you're still playing as the overall, Hearts of Iron Supreme Commander, but also sort of as a special agent within the sort of National Socialist hierarchy. And it explores the esoteric and religious aspects of National Socialism, which very good book if you want to. And I'm thinking about making some book reviews for the channels, or for this channel here. Highly recommend the book Hitler's Monsters. It's a very factual. I mean, the title is sensational, Yes, but it's very, very factual based. And by Eric Kurlander. Very good. And they look at the and he sort of explains the title, and I forget, I can't explain why he picked Hitler's Monsters other than that. But it goes in and looks at the various what's the term they use? Is it pseudoscience, or no? They use a different term, but pseudoscience would be a partial term. I forget. It's been a few years since I read the book. Actually, I listened to it. I had a job for a while, years, that I could listen to audiobooks while doing my job. So I listened to lots of audiobooks that way, and that's how I got this. But it goes into some, the occult within National Socialism, the use of ESP and whatnot within the National Socialism, and these various elements, and various competing elements within the National Socialist belief system up at the hierarchy. But this mod was going to go in and look at, if you will, Himmler's attempts to send one of the main goals that ultimately, as the overall player you were going to play, was to go conquer Tibet, so that Himmler's teams could go look for the secret entrance to the Hollow Earth, if you will, or the underground kind of things. As this, whether I actually was going to have the mod set up that you would actually find it, that it actually exists, or it's just simply Himmler's looking for it. Sort of looking, Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Last Crusade, the Nazis looking for, hidden treasures and things like that, but also trying to, build flying saucers and other weird technologies. Whether you were actually going to get flying saucers, I never really figured out if I was going to actually let the player have them, or just simply you're trying to build them. So it was going to be have a basis in history, but uh, a a fantasy element to it. So there's elements of it in Third Reich events that are very historical, but was going to set the basis for it. So this is, I did look up in some of the books and whatnot that there was an SS team, or a team with some SS members on it, and probably SS funding, primarily SS funding, to go to Tibet. But I wish these things had more basis in a reality or whatever. I believe it's been turned into a small docu-series as well. It could be Toy Jet. I'm not sure. Yeah, player agency is important. Yes, you're very right. Are you going to use light bombers? Well, I'm using some medium bombers now. We probably will get the DO 17 series in production soon, Pickle. Yeah. Do I mean War Thunder? I don't know the question there, but yeah. So I have worked a lot with the Hearts of Iron stuff, and yeah. So let's continue again. Sorry for the commercial for a non-existent thing, but if somebody wants to, it could be a lot of work, and I don't know if I'm ever going to get back into modding. I would seriously consider get into building DLCs, because that would be a profitable enterprise. But I know Toyjet at least gave a stab at making mods. I don't know if he's continuing or not, but it is a major undertaking to do so. To really turn out a big, let's counterattack now while they're occupying. Job to do something more than just change a flag or something to a more historical or unhistorical flag. Further improvements to the Autobahn. Excellent. Okay, so we're getting added infrastructure to Sachsen, Brandenburg, Thüringen, Hanover, and Franken. Good. Now we got some infantry, and let's join the attack from multiple places. If I can take this province and cut off even just a few divisions, it would be nice. Just eliminate those divisions from the board. New states, yes. Yeah, I hate states. I hate states. I hate you within the game. I hate them with a burning passion. This whole idea that this is a state. No, just go back to provinces and just make, and I understand part of, you know, because we do have one province as states. That's a state and a province. You just make some provinces have zero ability to have factories. And so just sort of certain cities and maybe certain rural areas that have a few slots to make up for, you know, instead of having every state be able to spam huge amounts of factories. So I just hate the state mechanic. I would turn everything over to provinces again. Okay, so we are waiting for March 39. We are waiting for August 30th. 1, so yeah, this is what I was trying to remember here. So we have 3 days or something here to wait. A couple days, maybe just 2. And then we will see about getting... Now, let's see if we can. I don't know how good our intelligence is. Let's just take a look here. Sometimes... Unknown focus. Okay, do we see again? No, we just don't have enough intel. Wanted to see if we knew what they had completed. If you know, if they were like, if I thought they were halfway done on a focus that dumps in a bunch more ICs or something, I'd let them complete it, you know, somewhere in here. But who knows what they're doing? Not enough for me to judge waiting on it. Okay, we're gonna keep one, yeah, through the end of this year at least one. Civilian IC in production here, and let's add another military one. I'm in a state here that is not overly populated with ICs, and we have just one, which is what I expected. And I'm going to come over here and get the well, probably wouldn't be that big a job. So we'll get the... Okay, how are we doing? Okay, we're doing pretty good on rubber fight. Question, are we still importing rubber? Okay, we are importing... Well, yeah, 10 and 10. I don't quite want to go negative on it. Okay, we don't need... Okay, well, we do need a few of that, right? Because that is at 12 instead of 8. Didn't I do the... Oh, we're waiting 3 days. That's right. Yeah, I don't know how hard it would be to simply take the... I don't know, Toy Jet. Do you need to do anything more? I mean, not that you shouldn't learn how to make states or something, but just simply take the, you know, World War Redux mod, you know, get it downloaded, put it in, you know, in its own, you know, separate folders like you do to set up the thing, and just go in and change controls of territory and change who the starting leaders are. You know, for Germany it would still be the Kaiser, I would presume, because they didn't completely flake out and get conquered, or, you know, lose entire political things. And whether you judge what for Russia, whether the Bolsheviks eventually come to power or not, I don't know. But and adjust technology levels and other things for a 36 start date or something. I don't know if you need to do a whole lot other than just get their mod and then go in and change statuses, you know, who's controlling what province, you know, what countries are controlling what provinces on the new German-Russian border due to the standstill we had. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you, yeah, I'm not suggesting not to make improvements, but that's just sort of where I was at. Little province at the edge of Belgium that Germany owned pre-World War I can't be retaken just the entire half. Yeah, I mean, you get historical things like that here, but here you can, because this is its own state where this isn't. So here in this mod, you can get that back. Yeah, I just don't. After playing it, even during the days of the beta, I don't see a good enough reason for this state mechanic. There is nothing, to my opinion, that adds to the game. And just like you're saying, whether it now this is, of course, they've modded it, but whether well, what if I wanted these 3 in Germany, but not the rest? We're gonna, a peace deal or something to have a puppet state Belgium, but Germany was gonna get more forest territory or something or whatever. Because I just don't no, it's just not good enough. Oh, and also some focus trees. Well, cool. Or just modifying the current ones, maybe. Sure, Toy Jet. I mean, it's whatever you want to build. I'm very willing to play. It just I don't, because I've made mods for 3 and Hoi 3 and Hoi 4. I know it can be a major undertaking, and you've got real world things to do too. So just don't want to make it overwhelming to make the mod. Oh, you played football? Well, cool. I presume you mean, for us Americans, you mean soccer. But yeah, kicking a ball around with your foot. But yeah, that's cool. Well, it's already after that date. Oh, we could do that, but we're going to do this first, I think. Again, because I don't know of a good reason not to do it right now. Handball. Well, we've never really played much handball. Okay, another I'll put the slot here, so normally I'm pursuing consumer goods factories, 1.5% less. That is useful. Artillery workshops. Those are useful. Construction speed, better. Max entrenchment, that's nice. Naval-based construction speed, rapid construction speed. Weekly stability up. Civilian fuel consumption factor is added. Okay, just checking the various. Yeah, let's do this. I want full liquefaction. Oh, we're going to be playing War Thunder tomorrow, yes. For the live stream, yes. Okay, so we've got 3 divisions, including the Italian Alpini division, pushing on 1 international brigade. Don't know if we'll get a chance to trap anybody up there, but we're trying. They've taken this 1 province. But... guys, encirclements. We want to do encirclements. Well, they do let me. I did a while ago get, about a year ago, or not quite, but 1939 New England hurricane. Okay. Did get a couple of, somebody ratted at me out or whatever to YouTube about a couple of my videos, and I was able to go on to Twitter, and after a little bit of talking to them, they've actually, their support personnel that watch Twitter actually reverse the hate speech stuff. I stick to the historical. I'm talking about historical stuff, and as I said in my thing, anything worse than they show on the history channels. You know, various countries. I know multiple countries have, you know, satellite or cable television, quote unquote, the history channel. So yeah, so people in YouTube, you know, YouTube support on Twitch and whatnot, you know, which are YouTube employees, have gotten in and looked at it. So somebody, even in that giant corporation, I am a micro channel by their thinking. I'm, you know, I'm not even, you know, I'm not even just a small channel. I'm a micro channel on what they're. But I've gotten things overturned, and whatnot, and a few other things not dealing with, you know. And if you notice, and I do sort of prefer the term National Socialist Germany. It takes longer to say than Nazi Germany, but I will say Nazi and Hitler. I'm not going to avoid it, but, you know, entirely. I may dance around it a little bit, but to make how often I'm saying it in any one stream less. But yeah, nope. Twitch again. There, I'm really hardly enough to notice. But I'm, you know, just to be clear, everybody, I'm an anti-Nazi. I'm an anti-communist. Because I do think some of these people think communism is good, but I'm an anti-communist. I'm an anti-Nazi. I think both were / are evil, on communists and Nazis. Just there's no, like, you know, other, you know, saying to history means I wish I could talk modern politics and have this. No, I disagree with these, you know, these philosophies. I want to educate people about them. Yes, well, very good. Seeing you can play with us tomorrow for sure. We'll play at least a couple of matches. So I know you're just starting out. I don't know if we're going to play, you know, low level the whole time, but a few matches, certainly. Okay, yes, we can use foreign volunteers. Yeah, no, I don't know. Because there were definitely people coming back to Germany that, whether to join the military or just simply to join the new Germany, there was quite a bit of people doing that. Okay, well, so far nothing I want to get these, but maybe not just yet. We got 230, so I still just don't know 4 civilian factories to have Goebbels in here. I know he gives lots of benefits, but I just don't see it. 2, because of the various radio support, movie support, even TV that he was pushing. Because Germany did have TV back in 1936. So did New York City. I think LA, you know, out here in California, I think they did have some television broadcast in the 30s. Don't know if 36, but in 36, New York had it. Berlin had it, not Germany, but Greater Berlin had it. That's all. Greater London had it in 36-ish. I don't know exactly when they start, and definitely in the 30s before World War II and during World War II. Paris had television. The Germans kept the Paris television broadcasting through most of the war. Obviously, they took it over and they produced mostly French language productions, but obviously under German control. Goebbels should be propaganda minister from the start. Well, yeah, but they sort of, because look at four civilian factories. I think that's a bit much, and I agree with you. I will have to say in their defense that they have a pretty good starting lineup that just has a few holes in it. So that ain't bad. That ain't bad as compared to like standard game with it's all empty. Well, let's see. What do we do? Kriegsmarine Waft Grand Battle Fleets. Okay. Research speed. Deutsches Werk Kiel. Surface Raiders. Bloom and Voss. Submarines. That's probably where we're going to go. Just because I'm building submarines. Torpedo boats. Destroyers. Nice. And U-boat. Okay, 2 U-boats. Submarine visibility 3, 10. 110. Okay. I think this Germania Waft U-boat rating is going to be our research speed. Yeah, it's going to be. If I was going to build a more balanced surface fleet, Bloom and Voss looks like it would be a little better. You know, if for some reason after defeating the Soviets and I want to continue the game and build big surface fleets, then I might switch it over to something like that. But for now, I think we will just go with this. Get that going. Good that you like to educate people. My generation are very ignorant about the National Socialists and Communists even. Have to learn a lot on your... Well, thank you. Thank you that you're learning. There's a lot to learn about these things, and I do agree with you. My limited experience with modern education, I mean, I was educated, you know, more than 20 years ago, so things change, but... so I'm not maybe very good with what's actually being taught in California schools today. I mean, I hear reports on, you know, the interwebs with not hearing about good things. Sometimes it's just ignorance, you know, the meaning they're not covering stuff. Other times what they're teaching, I think, is bad. That communism is good and things like that. But you know. Okay, that's going well, so we'll add this division to there. Okay, no, we're not pulling our we do, let's take a quick look at it. We do have, and I partially for, yes, the, you know, army experience and whatnot, but partially just so that I can literally do this and show you the current status of the war in China as our, you know, military attaché, you know, visiting and watching, the war. So that's, so this, compared to historical, this is doing very well for Japan. The one thing, and I know it might mean a bit of a effort switch, but it's just so easy to take. You know, this is why, you know, this China can't defend this, and if a human player puts down a big force down here, it's not a good way to do it. You're going to ultimately lose. But it's so easy to take this, and then whether you hold Hunan Island itself or come up and try to hold the peninsula, it creates a micro front, but denies the enemy this, but also allows you to, and I think either there already is, or the ability to build an airbase here to support things here that would just create a front that might take a few divisions to capture all of it, but just, you know, however many to hold this. This is owned by France here right now, or well, yeah, French Indochina is, they've put it as part of this. So just hold here, and you can hold that pretty damn easy. And they have to put a few divisions here, and you can keep probing out to see if they're weak or whatever, and then be ready to burst out if they don't hold it well enough. Just create another front that you can control how big it is. Either you break out and you try to rampage around there, meaning if all this is getting too tough, you shift forces and you attack up from the south. Or if they're holding this well, you keep pushing, doing what they're doing, but you got that held. So that's the one thing a human I would expect to do better. But otherwise, we can see this. All right. So let's continue our war in Spain. And we'll say that we're going to end this episode, not the live stream. Everybody hang loose on the live stream, including those of you over on Rumble. This, of course, I want to thank everybody for watching and hanging out with me. If you haven't already, please smash that like button so you can get more of this. See you next time for more, yes, even more Hearts of Iron.